David W. Williams, here from the highest paid part-time job in the world options training academy. Wanted to reach out to you with another customer testimonial. When we started the highest paid part-time job in the world, we eventually built out into the VIP program, which eventually built out into the IPO lockout course, which eventually built out into the trading plan program. The goal was to create an academy to where we could produce successful traders. And we understood what we needed to do. We understood the curriculum, and we just needed to get the buy-in from the people that came into the particular academy. And we've been able to do that with the people that have really taken this content seriously. They've applied it. They haven't looked for somebody to give them, right, the success. They were willing to work towards their success. And they have very much an adult mentality, right? They think like adults as opposed to maybe thinking like children. And we're going to keep reaching out to you with more and more testimonies for the people that are willing to offer them. Everybody that has been successful doesn't want to put their face on the screen. They don't necessarily want to talk about their success for whatever reason they have going on. We got to respect that. However, the ones that are willing to do it, we're going to keep reaching out to you with these particular scenarios. And some of the things that we talked about in this particular testimonial is what made them decide to buy the course. What were some of the major obstacles that they faced reaching their goals? How did they overcome some of those obstacles? How was this course different from what they've purchased in the past? And what advice would they give to their past self before taking this course? And what we want to encourage you to do is listen not only to this one, but we got a whole playlist of testimonials. Okay? And understand, do you see any of yourself in the people that are giving the testimonials? And if you do, then I want to really encourage you to look at the highest paid part-time job in the world options training academy. Because the goal of what we're doing is to get you to understand how you can leverage the financial markets to get the life that you want, as opposed to the life that somebody else has told you you have to accept just to survive inside this particular environment that we're in. So I want to encourage you to watch the testimonial, maybe watch it a few times. And if you got any questions, reach out to me. David W. Williams, talk to you later. So how are you doing, everybody? This is David W. Williams, also known as Diamond Dave, the founder of the highest paid part-time job in the world options trading academy. And what I'm bringing you today is going to be an update with a student of the particular program. I wanted to get an update from her based on what she's going through with the class, some of the challenges she had, and what it's going to do is going to give you, as a person that may be on the outside looking in, a pretty good understanding of what some of the things that you may have to overcome to get the success you desire as an options trader and getting the life that you desire by being involved in the financial markets. And if you're in the program, it can kind of give you an understanding of what people have had to do to kind of work through a lot of the challenges and the problems to get the success they desire. So currently with me today, I have Katrina Alexander. Katrina, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good, Dave. How are you?
Appreciate it. I appreciate you taking the time out. I know that we're in a busy season for a lot of people. I really appreciate you taking the time out of the day. So let's go ahead and get into it. Can you kind of give us some kind of like a status or situation update of currently where you're at right now as an options trader?
Okay, so I started the program about 2 years ago this month, actually, right around when the pandemic started. So kind of where I'm at right now is that I've actually kind of nailed down my trading strategy and learning how to trade in these sideways markets where it's going up and down every day. So that's definitely, so I've been able to kind of dedicate a little bit more time for that. So like when I first started back in 2020, I actually started my first live trade on Juneteenth of 2020, and it was definitely in an up market. So I've been able to find success with that. And now as we're in a up and down type market, I'm doing kind of being able to navigate that successfully and stuff, and going with the trends.
And so what is before we start getting to a lot of the real questions, what do you think is the biggest thing you've learned about trading pretty much over the past 2 years, or probably much about yourself as a trader over the past 2 years?
So one of the things that I've kind of learned is that it's mostly psychological as far as your mindset. So that's definitely something that I've had to work on, because I do have a lot of technical. I knew I could do it because I have a background. I have an engineering degree, but working on that psychology part, that's the majority of it. So when I start focusing on that, like in October of 2021, that's when the light clicked on for me as far as with the psychology. I was halfway through the month and my account was going down. It was going down way faster than I had wanted to. So I took a week off from trading and I just focused on my psychology, doing a lot of paper trading. And then I've finally realized is that I can manage my risk and implement that and stuck to the strategy. So I haven't changed my strategy as much during that time. Because at first I was changing it every single week and wasn't kind of like sticking with it. But when I was mid October of 2021, that's when everything definitely turned around.
Okay. And you said that you had been in the course around 2 years. So I want to ask you, when you saw my offer, what kind of made you decide to actually purchase the course?
Well, one of the things I saw is that when you were posting on Facebook, I saw your ally screenshots with the entry points and the exit points, and you would have the return on investment, the percentages and stuff, and you would actually kind of show a little insight to the background instead of this, because I know some people they use fake trading accounts to show the fake results and whatever. And just the fact that you was always willing to just not give away everything, but enough for me to know that you actually knew what you was doing. So the reason why I decided to buy the course, I had been watching your post probably about six months or so. But kind of what happened is that I got laid off due to COVID. And so I was always saying that after I finished working doing was a seasonal tax preparer. And I said, okay, I'll get to it after the tax season's over. But I got laid off in the middle of tax season. So that was like, that was the push over the edge because I was so upset that I got laid off from a seasonal job just to be asked back a week later. And I was like, I can't be dependent on these people for income anymore.
Okay, I understand that. And so while you was working through some of your goals, what are some of the major obstacles that you had to face?
So one of the major obstacles that I had to face is that I've always been an investor. So I've had long time. I've had investments since the early 2000s. So I've definitely found success for that. But I've always wanted to introduce myself as a trader because I knew that I just having money just sit and not moving was not going to allow me to reach my goals. So one of the major obstacles was like being able to see myself as a successful trader because I always knew I could go back to engineering if I really needed to make money or whatever. I could always go do the other things that I've done over the years to make money. But I wanted to be successful as a trader. So that was just being able to like tell myself that over and over and over and over and actually getting to that point and actually putting in the work to do that. So that was the first major obstacle as far as with the mindset. And then another obstacle I had to get over is that because I could do different things to earn money, I wasn't 100% focused on it when I first started because I could always go back and do website design, which I actually do now, and then engineering and other things like that. So that was another obstacle as well.
So then those obstacles you was facing, how did you overcome them? So you said you had some issues with identity. You had some issues with kind of going back and forth, maybe having your foot in both lanes. How did you go to overcome those obstacles or put yourself in a position to be successful?
So one of the things I just thought of is that what happens if my website business goes away, I can't get back into engineering, what am I going to do for income? And then at that point, it was like, I can make this work because I made everything else I've ever done work. And it's like, it took me almost 6 years to get my engineering degree. And I know if I stuck with it, I would get the options trading down. And I'm well on my way.
So let me ask you a question that's kind of like impromptu. How do you feel like your engineering degree helped you in trading?
Definitely being able to understand the value of having a strategy or a process that I follow. Because when I started implementing, because being an entrepreneur, I was getting up whenever, getting the work done whenever. But with trading, to be more successful, you kind of have to stay on top of the markets and getting that process. So one thing as an engineer is that I used a lot of processes. So when I nailed down my process, like I'll get up at a certain time, do some do a certain things in these certain orders. Like before I like for example, when I'm looking at a new company to decide if I want to trade options on it, at first I would do all this research and stuff and then go look at the options chain and then realize, oh, they don't even have any options. So I was just wasting my time. So I added to my checklist, okay, let me, if I see a company that I might want to invest in, let me go see what the options chain looks like. Because if the options chain isn't good, it's not going to be, I can research it all day and know which way it's going to go and do my research, but it's not going to help me because I'm not trying to buy and hold that long term.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's, I mean, that's just definitely with the being able to process and actually writing down and keeping notes.
Okay. And so then I know you had told me, I want to say maybe a year and a half ago that you would take some options courses in the past.
Oh yeah.
So what about this particular course that allowed you to have the success is different from the courses that you had bought previously?
Well, with the stuff I bought previously, they was saying that you had to. They was teaching a method that you was to had to have a lot of capital. You had to risk a lot of capital up front, and that was something that was different with your courses that you showed us how to start with as little as $100, $200, and then showing us how to find options that don't risk half your account or most of your account when you're first starting out trading though. So I haven't blown up my account, which is good.
Okay, I feel you. Okay. And so the biggest thing you think the difference was just the capital that people had to put up front and they've been able to find less expensive options.
Yeah, because I mean, there's a lot of people who think that you need $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 to start trading options, and I think that's kind of come from a misconception. That's like if you want to trade on a margin account,
Yeah.
but you definitely can limit your the amount of capital you need and your risk if you do start with cash and then you buy on the front end versus selling on the front end of the options transaction.
Okay. Okay. And then what advice would you give your past self before taking this course?
Okay, so one of the things I would give my past self is to do more paper trading before using live money, and then start with less expensive options.
Okay.
Because that was one of the issues. Because I was going back looking, because I keep track of every single one of my trades. And my very first trade was a Boeing option that was $900.
That's a lot. That's a
That
lot.
was that
A lot.
was way too much
Yeah.
of
I don't even.
my
I would.
account values
Yeah.
at that time.
Yeah.
So I kind of ran into a little trouble with that
Yeah. That's a
on
lot.
some other options and stuff. But one thing I was able to do is that when I went to less expensive contracts, I was able to start building back up my account a little bit faster.
Okay. Okay. So the biggest thing you would tell yourself is watch your trading size as
Yes,
far as the actual
from the
contract. Yeah.
start,
Yeah.
because it was never like I mean I could have just kept on doing that and kept on adding more money to my account, but I resisted doing that because it's like I just would have just wound up losing even more of it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's something I tell people. Yeah. A lot of people have a perception that they need to start with a big account. And I tell people it's better to start small because if you blow it, then you just blew a small account. Than to
Hmm.
start big and blow it, then you blow a big account because it's likely, especially when you start off, you're going to have issues with managing your account. I'd rather have you start it. And a lot of times with a lot of people, if you started small, if you ever lose it, you know you can get it back because you did it already before.
Hmm.
As opposed to a person thinking, I got to have 10,000 just to trade. If you know you started with 200, 500, $1,000, because of me personally, I didn't trade anything probably over 100 for the first 6 months because I was trading bank stocks. So I
Hmm.
traded really small options for probably the first 6 months. Because to me, I remember when I was going to get a $200 option on Target, that seemed like one of the most expensive options in the world to me because I just didn't have it. And I missed out on big plays, but I didn't have $200 to put on one contract. So it was definitely a process. So if anybody's considering looking at this particular course, looking at this particular community, and they're kind of on the fence, what would you have to kind of tell them to give them a better insight on what they would be getting in value?
Yeah, so I've been answering questions for people kind of ask me about this course as I've been in it for 2 years. So one thing I can tell you, one thing that I definitely tell them is that it's ongoing and continued support.
Okay.
Because I bought other types of investing type courses, and as soon as you get done with the course, they ghost you and they just go on out the game, out to get all together. And it's kind of like as you continue to learn more and apply more and grow, you're gonna have different more questions, but they're not going to be the same ones you would have in month one versus month where I'm at now, like month 24. So that's definitely a plus. And then also with the different groups, the group that you offer, that's how I've been able to find some of my Ford. I do a lot of trading with Ford, and we're able to kind of share ideas on different options and different investments we're looking at, especially that market news. Because one thing with having a group is that everybody can't read everything and stay on top of everything. But if somebody focuses on this part and somebody focuses on this part, and we put all our information together, everybody can grow and win. And then another thing is that you provide updated content and information based on what's going on in the market and stuff. Because some of the other people that I've been watching, and they've been silent this last month about how to trade in this high volatility market. A lot of them were saying just pull your money out. I was like, no, you can. The volatility is the only way you can make the money in the market, though. Because if it just trades sideways, it's hard. And that another thing is that people have that you show your courses, you show receipts and then testimonials. Because I saw you, and then I started following Method, and I was like, okay, I need to sign up.
Okay, I feel you. Okay, I feel you. Okay, so I mean, I really appreciate your insight, and I'm glad that you're having success. The most important thing is I'm glad you stuck with it, because I think that's the most important part. And I tell people all the time, like, just give this space like 2 years, and a lot of times it'll start to click and it'll start to become, I wouldn't say easy, but you get very familiar. It's like playing a sport. You start out playing a sport year one, you're not going to be the same person year 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think a lot of people look at somebody that's really good at something, they think it happened overnight, and really it's a
Mhm.
process. And that's one of the things I really get people. So one thing I'm really happy for you is that you stuck with it, because then, no telling 5 years from now, you might be doing futures or commodities, but you got your start in this particular space. That's kind of how you learn the market, and you branched into something else. So what I'm most really glad is that you just stuck with it, even though you had some downturns, you just stayed on it. And that's kind of how you get the success that you have now. And then once this market goes back in one direction, which most likely will be bullish once all of this stuff is over, it's going to be really easy for you to trade, because you was dealing with it. You came in then a high volatility. It's been fairly volatile the past 2 years, but eventually it's probably going to just end up taking one good bullish direction. And it's just going to be like a cakewalk for a lot of people, because we're used to the market being real choppy like it currently is right now today.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So, Katrina, I appreciate you coming through. We'll touch back with you probably later, 2022, see where you at. But I really appreciate your content.
Okay. All right. But thank you so much.
No problem. No problem. Okay. So that's a cut. So, appreciate it, Katrina. You got any questions before we get up on out of here? And I appreciate you rescheduling, because, like I said, last week I was trying to get my car fixed. I still got some more stuff I got to get fixed. And I had forgot all about the appointment because it's just so hectic.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this is I had some. So I had a lot